We addressed these bold predictions at the end of the last episode of last season, and I wanted to readdress them one more time before we walk into this year so we can be proven so dramatically wrong that it'll be very funny to look at as we review
I'm looking forward to it.
the season as we continue on. I wanted to talk about the Constructors. I wanted to predict the Drivers' Championship. I wanted to predict if there were going to be any rookies who win a race this year. And Kevin also has a special fun subsect or a separate question. So we'll hang on to that one. Kevin Walker, your prediction for the Constructors' Champion of the 2025 season.
My predictor for the Constructors' Championship will be McLaren. I think McLaren are going to do a good job of stacking together points. Though I am a little concerned with how Lando and Oscar will fight on the track, not off the track. I think they have a good relationship. I'm a little concerned about that, but I don't think they're going to be crashing into each other. I don't think it's gonna rise to that tension necessarily. Maybe I'm naive, I don't know. But I got McLaren winning the Constructors back to back.
And I love to break hearts. It's my favorite. I got Ferrari. I actually do think Ferrari are going to bring out a banger of a car this year. They looked at the prospects of what McLaren have been doing. They've been incredibly strong when it comes to innovation, but I think there's going to be a bit of a cannibalization within McLaren. I really do. Both these drivers have the opportunity to win a championship. Their biggest opponent arguably could be right next to them. I think within that, you have the loss of points for the team perspective. Ferrari's lineup is just savvy. It's nasty. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, they're both going to be within that mix, in my opinion, as well. I think Ferrari take advantage over the course of a full season with a bit more of that experience factor, especially with the addition of Lewis Hamilton being there. I think they're going to be a little bit more locked in. But it's a team sport. Obviously, there's a lot of things that could go wrong for Ferrari as well. But I think Ferrari, at the end of it all, it's going to be very close, but they're going to reclaim a Constructors.
All right, moving on to our driver championship winner. Speaking of Ferrari, I've got Charles Leclerc.
You got Charles Leclerc. So you got an offset championship 2 years in a row.
I do.
Interesting.
I think Charles is going to he's going to do a really good job. I think he's going to flourish in this Ferrari system. I've already kind of talked about it, but I think it's going to take a little bit for Lewis to get acclimated for the Scuderia. But I think Charles is going to do an incredible job. Another year in the Ferrari, another year in the Ferrari Red. He's kind of used to it now. He's kind of knocking on that door of a top five. Well, he is a top five driver. I don't want to say that as if he's not, but he's really, really establishing himself. And we really saw it turn on last year where Charles kind of just went on that stretch of just back to really good weekends. And it was like, yo, Ferrari's going to pass a falling Red Bull and they're going to put up a fight with McLaren. And Charles Leclerc was at the head of that battle. I really think Charles is going to have a good shot of winning the Drivers' Championship this year.
And funny enough, I'm staying with Ferrari, but I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to stay with my bold prediction from last year. I think that he will probably acclimate a little bit quicker than people might expect. I don't think it's going to take a full year for Lewis Hamilton to remember that he's one of the best drivers of all time. And I don't want to try to overgrandize the ability here, but an energized and enthusiastic Lewis Hamilton, it's somebody who you really have to be scared of if you're the rest of the grid. If this car is as good as I think you and I were both expecting it to be, if Lewis feels like he can actually fight for wins, he's not a guy that makes a lot of mistakes. All that experience, all that savviness, all that racecraft, I think is going to come into play. When he's locked in, when he's dialed up, Lewis Hamilton is the best driver on the grid, in my personal opinion. If this car is as strong as, again, we both think it's going to be over the course of an entire season, I've got Lewis Hamilton winning his 8th Drivers' Championship. A hell of a story to end this regulation set and to begin his Ferrari tenure. I mean, it's going to sell out grandstands and then some. The merchandise is going to be incredible. But
and we won't be able to afford it all.
Yeah, we won't be able to, yeah, no, there's no way. Any rookies that are going to win this year? And really, it's between Liam Lawson and Kimi Antonelli. Do we see these guys winning? And if so, who wins?
I've got two, and I think Liam and I think Kimmy could both get a win this year. I think I've got two rookie wins this year.
You got both of them winning a race at some point this year?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I think if I had to pick any rookies, it would be Kimmy. I mostly have this is more to do with Max than it does Kimmy. Funny enough, I think Kimmy is a fantastic driver. Of course, I've talked about it at length, but I think within the Red Bull system,
At
Max
length
being who
is
Max is,
a little
if the car
bit of
is
a
dialed
undersell.
in enough, I don't think he'll just let Liam get a win. I would be surprised. So if there's an opportunity for Red Bull to go out and win a weekend, Max is disgusting. He's one of the greatest drivers of all time. If it's going to happen, it will be Max at the top step. I think Liam is in line to get some podiums this year, but Max is going to make him work for it, for sure. You had an extra question, though. Go ahead.
I want to save it for. Okay, no, we can go and do it now.
Nah, man, I dialed it up. Let's hear it.
All right, so I want to know. I already know what my answer is going to be, and I have a feeling we could hit the same answer, but we'll see what happens. I want to know who your DNF superstar is going to be. Who's going to be the guy that just leads the charge in DNFs?
DNF champion this year. That is a fantastic question. Let me look at the driver grid here. If I had to pick one driver to crash the most this year, man, that's so tough. The problem is, like, you could say Jack Doohan,
Right.
and that wouldn't necessarily be a wrong answer.
But he'd only get 6 races.
But he'd only get 6 opportunities to do it. Over the course of an entire season, the entire grid, I actually think it'll be Isaac Hadjar.
Okay. All right. I had a feeling you were going to say him. I did.
That's my shot in the dark. I mean, there's so many. There's gonna be potentially 21 drivers this year if Colapinto ends up on the grid. I would say Isaac Hadjar because I don't think he's going to go anywhere. He's incredibly quick, but he's going to be pushing the car a little bit more so. Yeah, if you put me under the gun here, I'm putting Isaac Hadjar down.
Unfortunately, the guy that I'm picking is not a rookie. I don't know if he was the runner-up last year because our former champion, Checo Perez, has left us. He's on to bigger, better things.
Maybe he'll come back in the Cadillac. Who knows?
Our DNF champion will not be here this year, but I think you could see Lance Stroll taking over the DNF championship this year.
He's going to put a lot of pressure on his dad to make some decisions.
Yeah, he's be driving that car like it's his daddy's car, and that is definitely the case. And then we'll hit bold predictions, and we know we've kept y'all super long. If you stay tuned into this point, thank you so much.
Yeah, if you've stuck around this long, honestly, you got to subscribe. I mean, give us some follows, all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's only going to get better from here. We're going to hit our bold prediction, and then we're going to talk about this P10 game and our final thoughts going into practice. And then I promise we'll let y'all go. You won't have to hear or see our faces for a little bit. Then we'll actually have some F1 stuff to talk about after we see some on-track stuff. But we'll hit some bold predictions, and I've got a bold prediction that I've been cooking up.
Okay, you got another one.
Yeah, I've got a big one.
Let's hear it.
You're gonna hate it. You're gonna talk about a heartbreaker. You're gonna talk about a hater. My bold prediction, and you can bookmark it, you can tweet it, you can do whatever you want to do. February 23rd, 2025 is when we're recording this. Lewis will not thrive in his first year at Ferrari.
Okay.
And to the point, I've got under 3 race wins and under 10 podiums.
Under 3
Lewis
race wins.
Hamilton.
I mean, those are both solid lines. I think 3 wins in a season is still hard, no matter where you're driving at. Like, obviously last year, I think there were only 6 wins between both the McLarens, if I'm not mistaken. So like getting 3 wins at all is really tough. I would say 3 wins is a fair number for Lewis. I did predict him to win the championship this year, but if it's not going to be a championship season, 3 wins is fair. Under 3 wins, man, that's a lot. You think he's just going to struggle overall, not even hit the podium? I think 10 podiums is a lot as well, by the way. Like if you said like 6 podiums, he wouldn't hit 6, I'd be shocked. But 10 podiums is pretty tough. It's a 24 race season. I would say it's not unfathomable, but it would be shocking for him to not have a good season. just because Lewis is Lewis.